Obi Dollar Show on Sirius XM channel 127, Tuesday, November 17th. 49, as in 49 days, the most important Senate elections of our lives. Georgia, it all comes down to Georgia, Georgia, Georgia. We have to help John Ossoff and Reverend Warnock. Without that, Joe Biden will have no chance for any legislative success on any significant level. At best, it'll be around the edges, like infrastructure bill, maybe a small COVID relief package. You want to see progress? Stay angry, stay active. Let's win that race. And then here's a nice number, 64. That's how many days until Donald Trump is evicted from the White House, gone. Hoping escorted out, but no matter what, he's gone in 64 days. Stay angry. Stay angry through January 20th. Stay active after that. You want progress? Stay active. That's how we do it. The other side stays active even in off-year elections, in midterm elections. We tend to sit it out. Can't do that anymore. You want change? Stay active. So right now we learned a stunning thing last night. We learned that Lindsey Graham is a co-conspirator in Donald Trump's efforts to overthrow this election. It is a soft coup. It's not a military coup. It's a soft coup playing out. A normal thing would be in the courts room. That's one thing. What's going on here is truly a soft coup. It's an effort to undermine the will of the people, throw out our democratic elections, and instead impose a dictator or a strongman in Donald Trump to remain there for, and I can assure you, way beyond 4 years. If Donald Trump was somehow able to overthrow this election, he would stay there for life. What would stop him from overthrowing the 22nd Amendment? Nothing. Nothing. So what we learned last night was stunning from the GOP Secretary of State in Georgia. And he's a Republican, a proud Republican, very conservative man, Brad Raffensperger. First of all, he said something connected to Lindsey Graham, but something really shocking and tells you what we're seeing on the other side. He talked about death threats that himself and his wife have received on her cell phones. Things like, your life depends on this recount, because there's a recount going on now in Georgia by Trump supporters. He even said they were by Republicans, and he thinks, on his side, they all wear white hats. Well, he's learning the reality of what we know. That's not true at all. Yes, there are some good Republicans, but there's some vile, despicable ones who will commit acts of violence to keep Donald Trump in power. It's exactly what this Secretary of State's finding out. Secondly, though, about Lindsey Graham, here's what we found out. And it really is jaw-dropping. It's not something you expect to see in the United States of America. Maybe you see it in a third world country, but not here until now. What Raffensperger talked about was that Lindsey Graham had suggested to him to throw out legal ballots, legally cast ballots, to help Donald Trump win the election in Georgia. This was not count just the legal ballots. This was throw out legal ballots to help Donald Trump win. Raffensperger talked about it. He said he was stunned by the conversation, that he asked him if he had the power to throw out legally cast ballots, and it was not something he had ever heard before or ever expected to hear, saying only a court can throw out any ballots like that. It gets worse. We found out today that Lindsey Graham didn't stop with Georgia. He reached out to election officials in Nevada and Arizona, both states Donald Trump lost, but is contesting. And what did he say to them? We're not sure right now, but if Georgia is any kind of indication, it seems that the senator from South Carolina took it on himself to call states around the nation where there's a small gap in the terms of Donald Trump's margin of loss in an effort to throw out legally cast ballots to help Donald Trump. That's, Lindsey Graham's denying it, but Lindsey Graham admitted that he called Nevada and he called Arizona and he called Georgia. There's no good faith basis for this. Is it a crime? Well, you know what? It demands an investigation, that's for sure. Today, Stephen Vladeck, an election guru at University of Texas, said, at the very least, it's a serious matter that warrants further investigation. Yes, at the very least. Noah Bookbinder, the head of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington, put it even more bluntly. He said, Senator Graham was contemplating illegal behavior. It really smells like the potential of a crime. Federal law makes it a crime for somebody under the color of law, being a U.S. senator under the color of law, to willfully try to deprive people of the right to vote. So encouraging someone to throw out legally cast ballots could be contemplated within the scope of this statute and be the crime. Under Georgia law, it's a felony for someone who tries to solicit election fraud and throwing out legally cast ballots. Do we have enough evidence? It's not clear yet. What it is 100% clear, you need an investigation. Will the U.S. attorney that's appointed by Donald Trump investigate? It's possible. Sometimes you get surprised because career prosecutors will do the right thing. But if not, on January 20th, when Joe Biden becomes president and he appoints good prosecutors, not partisan loyalists, if they look at the evidence and find evidence of a crime, Lindsey Graham should be charged. There's no immunity for a sitting senator. The only immunity, the only person above the law is the president while they're in office. Ridiculous as it may be, that's the way it looks, at least for federal laws. But here's the thing. This is not the GOP's first effort to undermine our elections. They do it all the time. They do it for years with voter ID laws. They do it with understaffing election areas or voting areas where people tend to vote Democratic, especially areas of people of color. They get rid of early voting days. They close down voting precincts in places where Democrats vote. They've been doing this for years. This is what they're about. And there's been 2 cases of voter fraud that we've seen. One was September. It was by a Trump supporter who was getting prosecuted. The other was a much bigger case, 2018 election, midterm election, North Carolina, candidate from Congress, Mark Harris. One of his operatives illegally had an illegal scheme to gather absentee ballots to help him win this close election. Mark Harris is a Republican. The political operative was a Republican. That operative is charged with felonies. This is projection from the GOP. They're the ones involved in voter suppression and voter fraud. Meanwhile, you have Rudy Giuliani right now, as you're watching this, in federal court in Pennsylvania, lying to a federal judge that there is massive voter fraud and over 1 million people's ballots. That's what he's arguing for now. Over 1 million Pennsylvanians, their ballots should be thrown out. Not that they're illegal. That's really not what it's about. It's because they're not cast for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the greatest threat to our nation since World War II. He's a threat to our democracy. He's not a sore loser. Please don't dismiss him as that. He is a threat to this democracy, to our constitutional republic. The quicker Donald Trump is out on January 20th and then criminally investigated, and if the evidence is there, because we do not support political prosecutions, we are not a third world nation, evidence is there, fully prosecuted for federal election crimes, which Michael Cohen testified under oath that Donald Trump, individual number 1. Cyrus Vance, the Manhattan DA, is investigating for potential bank and insurance fraud. There could be other crimes. I think that Donald Trump has committed manslaughter to maybe murder too, in regards to his lying, intentionally lying to the American people about the risk of COVID when he knew, in his own words, it was 5 times more lethal than the flu. And he told Americans over and over again, it is just like the flu. To me, that rises to the level of a crime. No pardons by Joe Biden. No, let it go by. No, let bridge under the water. No, let's have unity. Either we're a nation of laws or we're not. Either everyone is held to the same standard or we have a king who's above it. Can't have that. We'll talk about this more in my show. My show is 6 to 9 p.m. tonight on SiriusXM channel 127. And if you don't have SiriusXM, go to the website. Check it out. Free trials every day. Then join our conversation. Be part of our family. This fight's not over. Trump is gone January 20th, but from there, we're going to fight for progress. So stay angry, stay active. Thanks for tuning in.